What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locks DFS MLB breakdown. I'm your host, Christian Hardy. I'm going to run through this little 5-game MLB slate. It's starting early at 5:35, so this video is only going to be relevant for about 3 hours here, 2.5 hours, something like that. But just got through the early slate, so want to jump into this 5-game slate, give you guys some of my favorite plays on this slate. But before I do that, wanted to remind you, be sure to like this video, comment on this video. It helps out a lot, and it'll also enter you into win a free season pass just by commenting and being a subscriber to our channel. We really appreciate it. As I said, it helps out a lot, and hopefully you can win that free pass eventually if you keep commenting. Just leave your favorite play, your favorite stack, whatever it might be on this little 5-game slate, and you have a chance to win a free season pass from Locks DFS. And speaking of our website, Locks DFS, we just launched our new website. You can see our prices here on the site, but our MLB content. We list our favorite stacks. We go through our plays on the lock sheet. We give you guys a few plays that we think you should have locked in, as well as just rating our general cash plays with a breakdown, some analysis, all that good stuff, all on the sheet. If you guys have any questions about that or want to know more about our product, you feel free to DM me. At @byhardy on Twitter. Feel free to DM Addy or hit us up on Twitter at LocksDFS. Those will all be there, and like I said, locksdfs.com is where you can check that out. With all that said, let's get right into this little 5-game slate. So pitching is real interesting on this 5-game slate. There's lots of guys here that were real good last year, been real good in the past, but haven't been as good this year. With J.A. Happ and Rich Hill, you have Patrick Corbin going up against a hot Dodgers team. Lots of interesting spots. My favorite spot on the slate is actually going to be, as of now, Rich Hill. He is expensive on DraftKings at $9.7K, but he's facing a Nationals team that has not been good. It's a slate low team total at 3.2 runs. Nationals, middle of the pack versus the curveball, which is what Hill throws pretty much half the time, 45% or so. Nationals striking out at a 27% clip, actually nearly 28% clip against left-handed pitchers this year. And they've been about the same rate, 27% over the last 2 weeks, with I think one of the worst WRC pluses in the league. With that lineup, they are getting some bats back, so their lineup's starting to look a little better, but still have some interest in Hill here. As I said, the price is expensive. His swinging strike rate is a little bit down this year, but you're going to get that in a lot of pitchers you look at on this slate. Hill's going to be my favorite on both sides as of now. Seems like a good spot as ever to bounce back here in Dodger Stadium. A few of the pitchers I wanted to talk about here. Patrick Corbin, of course, on the other side is a little bit interesting. Money is moving toward the Dodgers here in Vegas. I can pull that up real quick. So as you can see, 80% of the bets are coming on the Dodgers on Rich Hill, and the movement is toward the Dodgers. That said, Corbin is probably the most talented pitcher on this slate. Him or Soroka for me. Soroka is still kind of a prospect, though, in his own right. So Dodgers 3.9 team total, second lowest on the slate. Corbin, 11.5 swinging strike rate. Expected to be the chalkiest pitcher on the slate right now, it's looking like. Dodgers, one of the best hitting teams over the last 2 weeks, though. They've really been getting hot, especially with Justin Turner hitting the ball, and the lineup is pretty much back to full strength here. So you're targeting a Dodgers team that is definitely hitting the ball well. And I will say also, considering Corbin, and I'm definitely considering Corbin for cash, but I will say that, Dodger stacks make a lot of sense here too. Like I said, they've been getting hot. If they can get to Corbin with some big fly balls, some hard hits, the bullpen behind him is one of the worst in the league. I believe it is actually the worst on the slate over the last month. So some Dodger stacks definitely make sense in GBPs. Probably not something I'm going to go to in cash. It doesn't make sense to target Corbin for me. But in GBPs, with the ownership that Corbin is getting, you could definitely go to some of these Dodgers bats in GBPs. The last guy I'm going to mention is, as I've been talking about, kind of some of these arms that were great last year and have not looked as good this year, and that's going to be J.A. Happ. Price really down due to his struggles this year at 8.1K. As you can see, if we pull up his recent performances here, has not been great. That Minnesota game, he ended up getting the dub, which helped him out a lot. But the K upside hasn't been there for Happ this year. Only a 9.5 swinging strike rate, down from about 10.8% last year. So Mariners, not a team that's going to strike out a lot either. They take patient ABs, they take a lot of walks. And really there's some tough outs in this lineup. If we pull it up, you've got Mitch Haniger, you've got Edwin, you've got Ryan Healy, Santana, but the bottom of this lineup definitely has some Ks in it. if Hack can get going. 4.3 run total is definitely one of the lower on the slates here. Mariner striking out at 22% versus left-handed pitchers, pretty middle of the pack, like I said. So, but do have some interest in Happ at this very, very reduced price, and on FanDuel at 7.8. Both prices make a lot of sense to me on this slate. Definitely someone you can go to is your SB1, SB2, probably more your SB2. I'm looking at Hill as my SB1 as of now. Okay, that's kind of do it for the pitchers. I have some interest in Soroka and GBP, but I think the roof's going to be open at Chase Field, and we'll talk more about that here in a little bit. But Soroka has been very, very good so far in his starts. Just probably not the spot I want to target. Not a ton of Ks in that Arizona lineup. They're kind of middle of the pack in K rate, so probably not someone I'm going to look to for cash. Bats, if we just switch over to bats right now, top spot is obviously going to be right here. Yankees, 5.3 run total against Mike Leake. Mike Leake, pretty bad pitcher, 8.7 swinging strike rate, not missing a lot of bats. That's below league average. He's giving up a 45% fly ball, 93% medium plus hard contact. He's just not getting soft contact this year. As I said, Yankees slate high run total, and some of these prices on these Yankees really make a lot of sense. Obviously, like Gary Sanchez is going to be really hard to pay for. But if you look down in this lineup, Clint Frazier at 4.5, Gleyber Torres at 4.4, and I really love this Miguel Andujar price at 3.8. Andujar last year, low K rate versus righty, something around like 14%. Pretty good for him for how much power he adds. 133 WRC plus and 225 ISO versus right-handed pitchers last year. Awesome park, and like I said, facing a reverse splits righty and Leak. Leak, I don't know if I mentioned those stats on Leak, big fly ball, big hard hit, and he gets the park shift here. So really love all these Yankees. Andujar especially at that price really stands out to me on FanDuel and on DraftKings. And Sanchez is probably going to be the top catcher, although it's pretty hard to get to him on this slate. And catcher's always a spot that you can just, punt it off. So paying up is more of usually a GBP type of route to go. I have some interest as well. So after that, it really falls off in terms of bats. There's just so many solid pitchers on this slate. Like pitchers that are tough to target. That it was really hard for me to find another team that I love to stack. Some of these Astros make some sense. They priced them down facing Mike Minor. So pretty much 2 through 7. 2 through 7 makes sense to me. That Tyler White price is real cheap for how much power he can add versus lefties. But Minor has been very good this year. They're priced down for a reason. So not in love with those Astros, but I definitely think that Tuve price, that Correa price, and that Gurriel White price, those all make some sense to me. Even Springer makes some sense. So those are all fine plays, and I'm not going to talk you off of them. And I definitely think you should have an Astro or two in your lineup probably tonight. Definitely don't see an issue with that. The next spot I want to talk about, though, were how cheap these Pirates lefties are. Frazier and Polanco. Frazier 3.4K, Polanco 3.7K. You can see there on the left. If you need to save some salary, they make a lot of sense. Walker's giving up 37% fly ball and 40% hard contact to left-handed bats this year. It's a low team total of 4, but definitely a place that you can save some salary in Frazier and Polanco. And Polanco, he can hit the ball versus righties, as you can see, 366 well, but 267 ISO over the last year versus right-handed pitching. He's just coming back. The price just doesn't make a lot of sense to me here at 3.7. Definitely someone I want to get. Definitely someone I'm going to be looking at in cash just to save a little bit of salary there. The last one I wanted to talk to, which was it actually worked out perfectly because we just saw their run total jump back up to 4.4. Is the Braves. I mentioned that Chase Field is probably going to be open today. You can see humidity at 17%, but the temp is going to be 87%. Luke Weaver has been improved this year. For sure, he has been an improved pitcher. And he's getting a little bit more swinging strikes. He's limiting his hard contact just a bit. But still, he's giving up a good amount of fly balls, around 37%. His hard contact still around 40% to righties. So really, and the Braves are all priced down in such a good hitting environment. I've definitely got to be looking to these Braves at the 4.4 run total on this slate. I love that Acuna price at 4.2. I love that Donaldson price at 4.2. Freeman at 4.6 even makes sense. Weaver is pretty good on lefties, and Freeman hits lefties better. That said, still going to be considering those guys. Even Markakis at 4.3 makes some sense to me. McCann in the catcher spot at 3.9. He hits righties real well. for a catcher at that price. So all those guys are going to be in play for me. I think Donaldson, I would say, if I'm going to name one, going to be my favorite against Luke Weaver. Hits righties very, very well. 198 so 355 over the last year, as you can see right there. Big fan of those Braves on this slate. That's probably going to do it for me. If I'm going to give you some home run calls, under 4K, I'm going to go a lot. Leak doesn't miss bats a lot. Love Andujar, even batting 6th at that price. Big fan. And if you want to go over 4K, I'm probably going to take. That's a tough one over 4K. Over 4K, I think I might just stick with the Yankees, man. I might just go with 2 Yankees on this and go with Gary Sanchez at 5.3K. Like I said, it's going to be tough for me to pay up for Sanchez on either side of that price. So more of a GBP play, but definitely think Leak's not missing bats. Bad park shift. Give me Gary Sanchez taking one out. Big power versus righties last year. Big power versus both hands, but he continues to hit those righties well. And has hit for a ton of isolated power this year versus righties in the low sample size he has. I forgot to write down those numbers in my notes, but I remember looking at them, and versus righties in the 75 ABs, he's got some pretty big numbers. So that's going to do it for me. Remember, please like this video, please comment, please subscribe. It means a lot to us. It'll help us out a lot. If you have any questions about Locks DFS, or if you want to check us out, remember, locksdfs.com. We've got Addy's going to write up his favorite stacks. He's probably doing it as I'm recording this video. So we'll have more stacks for you there, and why kind of we're targeting those stacks. GPP stacks as well. On the lock sheet, we'll have our analysis on all of our players, rankings, cash plays, GPP plays. All that stuff is there. If you have any questions, at Locks DFS. Thank you guys so much for watching. Addy will have a video tomorrow, and we should have a podcast for the big Friday slate. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys back here then.